Ready?
Ready.
Today is October 18th, 2021. Time is 6 p.m. This is the Hannah City Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. How many guests? Correction. So everybody should have a copy of the minute meetings from the August 16th, 2021 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Chris. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Gate. Gate is one way over there. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. Already in the public hearing.
It's open.
Okay, so, yeah, so I'll entertain a motion to open a public hearing on proposed rezoning of North Pekin Lane, PIN number 16-10-203-010 from an R1 to a B4.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Chris. And I gotta get those names
So do we discuss now, or do we wait and do that during the findings of it?
Now would be like the time for anyone from the public to come in and start voting in favor or against it. We could hold a discussion now during this public hearing and then move to findings.
Okay, why don't I just give a description of what's going on so that, okay.
or I can.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Mid-Century Fiber was coming into Village of Hannah City. Everybody's already seen all the announcements, and they're wanting to bring fiber into town. So they looked high and low. We tried to find a piece of property close to 116. We found the vacant property there behind the car wash. And basically all they're doing is putting a 6 foot by 8 foot slab of concrete with electrical and power to it. And then all their internet service that they have coming in would be their junction box for Hannah City right there. And that's the only thing they're going to be doing with that property. Other than maybe putting a small cabinet on top of that box, to make sure everything is weather tight and sealed. But there's not going to be any big industrial buildings or anything go up. They just want to have it zoned residential for or commercial, for their, tax purposes.
And because I think that would violate our code if it were still residential. Also, did we mention, they closed on that purchase, right?
Yes, and then they've already purchased the property.
And B4 is light
or low impact industrial.
Any comments, any concerns?
What's there right now? It's just a lot.
It's just an empty lot.
Okay.
Yep, that's all it is.
So is there already a driveway to it? No, just a lot.
Yeah, they probably won't even put a driveway in.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm assuming they won't because it'll just be
Junction.
a junction box. I mean, they may have to put in one temporarily for their access to get everything set up and everything, but I'm assuming if they do, it'll probably just be gravel or dirt driveway.
We went back and looked at the history all the way back as far as we could, and there's never been anything on the lot. So it's just been an open lot. But it was originally when that neighborhood was built, it was zoned R1 to have a house on it, but nobody ever has built a house on it. So
And the owner of the car wash actually owns the property too. So I think he bought it also as a buffer from the residential community, hoping nobody would butt right up against his property, commercial or residential, so he wouldn't have to worry about noise and things like that.
Kind of works nicely then, kind of a middle ground of
Yeah.
something to go in.
Yeah, it's really worked out really well for them. And I've dealt with Aaron from Mid-Century numerous times, and they're trying to get us coming as fast as they can.
we have to close the public
Yeah, they
hearing.
gave a motion in a second.
So need a motion to. Sorry. Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
Motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. We're out of a public hearing.
And then there's two documents in the packet. One's finding the facts with answers and one's without, just in case in the meeting, we didn't like the answers that we had prepared in advance. We could always alter it.
It doesn't. The ordinance.
Yes, it has to be filed with the county so we can rezone it on the zoning map.
Yes. But the findings actually comes from.
Right.
So then we can just file the findings with the ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay, like we would any other ordinance. Got it. You'll just file the findings with the ordinance if the ordinance is approved tomorrow night.
I can. I've not ever done it. I've stapled it to the
Normally
plan.
when we do the findings, it's for an annexation, and I've got the file when we do that, but this is for
Okay.
just rezoning, so when the ordinance is approved, you can just put the findings with the ordinance and file it with where you would the
Okay.
ordinance.
That works.
We
Does that
file that with
just-
the county though too, don't we?
The ordinance for sure goes with the county. The findings, we could probably attach to the ordinance if we want to file those with the ordinance with the county. Otherwise, I'm not certain that the findings need to be filed with the county.
But you create ordinance files here for all the ordinances, right?
They all go in one.
Okay, so all I'm saying is we would attach the findings with the ordinance when you file it here,
Okay.
and I'll take care of filing it with the county.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do we need to read each of the findings? Do you think, or
If that's what the body wants to do, we can. Otherwise, my suggestion would just be everyone take a look at each question and the answers that are pre-prepared, and then if you see something that you disagree with, or you think something might be missing, you have additional information you want to throw in there as to why it's a good idea or a bad idea, we can do that. But I was just going to say, let's just give the commission a little time to read through them, and then people could chime in.
and then the last document that's in there is the ordinance that'll be voted on tomorrow night at the board meeting, assuming you approve the findings of facts and make the recommendation of these findings of facts being approved at the village board meeting. I just put a copy in there for you to look at.
everybody's had time to look through that. Is there any changes anybody sees that need to be made?
Nope.
I will entertain a motion to approve the finding of facts for rezoning of North Pekin Lane, PIN number 16-10-203-010.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
To approve?
Yes.
Motion with James. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. And carries.
Chris, if you can
Yes,
sign
sir.
the back of that and pass it around. Yeah, I got it.
That's the only thing we need to do is make the recommendation. So findings were approved,
Right.
now we just
Yeah.
need to vote
Okay.
to recommend it or not recommend
I gotta use it. That's a little different.
it. We haven't done too many of these.
We haven't. I think this is just the first rezoning in the time
Because
I've
they're
been
all,
here.
they're all tied to annexations.
So what do you do? Just like a motion?
Yeah.
Just a motion and a
Motion
second.
and a second.
Either for or against, and then we'll need someone to motion either for or against.
Nobody doing the thing.
It's for right-handed people. Here's your left-handed one.
All right, that's the one I gotta use. You won't like my left hand, let alone my right.
So just say recommendation.
Entertain a motion.
Yeah, their recommendation, they're recommending for the change or against. Whatever the motion needs to say. For rezoning.
I do one thing.
Or entertain a motion.
Do you?
To recommend it.
The Board of Trustees, the rezoning of North Pekin Lane.
That's what I'm talking about.
Does Tony need to sign this also?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think like badminton or something like that.
Entertain a motion to recommend, for recommendation, the Board of Trustees on the rezoning of North Pekin Lane. Approval
For or against.
for
For or against the
For
rezoning.
or against.
Both hands. Sure.
we have a motion for or against.
Sure. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Do you want it for or against?
For. Yes.
Recommending-
I would like to recommend for approving the motion and to go to board.
For
Right.
the rezoning.
For the rezoning. Excuse me. Sorry.
Perfect.
We got it.
Good.
I feel like I was supposed to be the one listening and no one else was. So, the college try.
The second will be easy.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
She got an easy
It's
job.
easy.
Easy job.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
No correspondence.
I don't have anything that's official, but I do have, and I'll talk to Maury on this. I have one village resident who's going to be filing something with the village board or with the commission to see about moving his fence back, even though it's part of the village right away. So just a heads up, just in case that comes before the board, so you guys know. Next meeting is November 15th, 2021.
And we will probably need to meet. We have a pre-annexation that's coming in, property that wants to pre-annex. It's pretty far out there, and we'll have to do some looking at it, but and have some discussion about whether strategically it makes sense for us to pre-annex it or not, because I think it would be a long time before they would actually become annexed. And so if we pre-annex it, we're taking on all the costs associated with, zoning it and handling the permitting for it and all of those types of things. But it may never ever get annexed because it's far enough out that we'll never get property tax for it. So it'd be something for us to consider at the next meeting.
Yeah, and I know we was talking with some other board members. Something that they wanted to try to do is try to strategically look at those instead of the board's, the village spending more money than is necessary to pre-annex these properties. That it may take 5-10 years before we get enough stuff between us and them to get them in. It's not a waste of money, but it's money that could be well used somewhere else in the meantime until we get to that location.
What's it cost the village to pre-annex process? Is it hundreds or thousands?
I mean, I think the legal fees alone would be pushing thousands, like 1,000 anyway. And then on top of that, you would have just staff time if they needed to, if they wanted a permit or anything along those lines. So it's not that we would never, ever invite them in. I think the village board's kind of looking at it now saying, strategically, we would like it to be in a place where we feel like the return would be sooner rather than later, and then grow inward out, right? Rather than just a property in the middle of nowhere that we may or may not ever connect with. The other interesting thing is I think the Rails to Trails grant is going to get approved, and if that does get approved, then that means that whole 24.7 miles is going to become the property of the village of Hannah City. So that means anything that's directly connected to that could fully annex in at that point. So that might bring new opportunities if and when that takes place. So we may be busy.
Yes. You won't be here to enjoy it.
Hopefully come back and enjoy the trail is
There
what I'm
you-
looking forward to.
There you go. Any other questions or concerns to be brought before? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.